guys, just thought I'd pop on today. I have something kind of fun I wanted to do. I know I was gonna go live tomorrow with a video, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go live today because I have the time, and tomorrow I've got a bunch of appointments. And so I thought, what am I gonna do? Well, I have had this painting I'm gonna show you here on my computer for a long time, and it was the painting I did a number of years ago, and it was really important to me. And it was a smaller, just little study. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to turn that one into a larger painting. So I have my linen canvas here today, and I'm just going to take this little plein air study and turn it up into something bigger because I really wanted to. And I thought it might be kind of fun to go live. I know it's not Friday, but whatever. I had the time, and so whatever. So these videos just stay up so you can watch it anytime. All right, you guys. So I'm going to just jump in here. And what I have here in my studio is I have my computer just right over here. And oops, I lost my picture. There it is. If you can kind of see that, I'm going to kind of rearrange my camera here in a little bit. But there we go. That's what I'm doing. Okay, that was a study I did a long time ago. And hi guys. So I'm going to do that on my bigger canvas. This is a, oh gosh, I think it's a, I don't remember, 12 by 18, looks like, something like that. So I'm going to move back so that my shadow won't cast too much of a thing on glare or shadow on there. And then let me turn this so you're not crooked. That should be about right. And then I've got my palette here, just my regular colors I'm going to use today. I've got titanium white, cad yellow medium, but I did put on these two. This is a cad red light, and then a cad red medium. Then I've got yellow ochre, burnt sienna, ultramarine blue, some phthalo green, and alizarin crimson. I don't know how much of those I'll use, but anyway, so I'll try to show you what I can. I've got my paper towels here. I always use Bounty, and they absorb better. All right, so I am going to push this back, and I'm going to tone the canvas first. So I always like to, I guess not always, I shouldn't say always. Sometimes I do, most of the time I like to tone the canvas. I have my little bucket of odorless mineral spirits here. And in my little canvas, my little palette cups here, I will put my linseed oil in. I can put my linseed oil in this little agave bottle because it has just, you know, the flip top, and I can just squeeze out a little bit that I need. Okay. All right. So here we go. Brushes. Let me just get a big one. And I guess that one's as good as any. No, this one's a really big one. Let's just get the job done. All right. So I've got my happy little Bob Ross brush. And because I've got this glow on here, I'm going to kind of let this part really have more of the cadmiums, and then go out with just a softer, muter color. Hi, Sherry. Good to see you. All right. So I am happy to be on here today. I haven't been live on YouTube or Facebook for quite a while. And so I thought I'm just going to do this today. This will be fun. All right. So starting with, oh, and I promised I'd move back so my shadow's not in the way. Let's put that right there. I always make the canvas a little darker than I need because I know that I'm going to brush some of it off. So just taking some sienna, ochre, and white. Let's get some paint on there. I really do want to start with sort of that glowing feel. So the sienna sort of tones it down a little bit. So if I just use yellow ochre and cad yellow, it would be a little bit intense. So yeah, I haven't been on here for a long time live, so it's kind of fun just to be here. Okay, someday when I grow up and become a famous artist, I'm going to get an easel that's not broken. I've had this broken easel. Now it's like become like a thing, and I just can't get rid of it. But my top, this part here doesn't go down. So it's always just kind of a fun and exciting challenge. You never know what to expect. In one of these videos, my painting actually fell right on my palette. That was fun. So let's do this. I'm gonna set that down. You know, it was such a great easel when I bought it, and I really like it, but I don't know. It has character now. Okay, so that's good enough. Taking my paper towels, I'm just going to wipe that down. And I really pretty much start, I said at the beginning, I don't do it all the time, but on most of my paintings, I do start with the toned canvas. This is going to be kind of a bigger painting to try to get done. Oh, shop clamp. Yeah, that's a good idea. I should do something like that just right here. I think I actually have one somewhere. All right, so what I'm going to do now is just start out by drawing it on my canvas. So it's this really simple idea. In fact, I took this image up when I was way up. I used to live in, I need some more Gamsol. I used to live in the Blue Mountains of Joseph, Oregon. Hi, Irene, good to see you. I lived in the Blue Mountains, and I owned an art school. I was 21. I owned a workshop art school called Joseph Art School. It was in Joseph, Oregon. And it was great, but the nearest, Walmart or stoplight or anything was 75 miles away. So we'd have to drive way up north to Lewiston, Clarkston, Washington, Idaho. Joseph, Oregon is way up in the corner, the northeast corner of Oregon. And so to just get any kind of basic whatever, we'd have to drive a couple of hours up north. Well, you go down in Rattlesnake Canyon, way on this winding road, and then you come way up out of Rattlesnake Canyon. And one day, when we were leaving, we came back down, and the whole valley down below was filled with this fog, and it was just so beautiful. And so that's where the scene came from, and it just sort of reminded me of what it's like when you go flying in an airplane and being up above the clouds, and everything up there is just perfect and bright and sunny and blue skies. There's no troubles way up above the clouds. And it always makes me think, no matter what in life, there's always that hope that someday we may fly or whatever, and it's beautiful up above the clouds. So that is what this painting means to me. It's called Above the Valley Fog. So my sun, S-U-N, sun, is going to be right in here, and I'll let it sort of cascade up this way. Okay, now if I don't start making tracks, I'm going to run out of time and space here. All right, good to see you, Lily. Okay, so let me get sort of like, maybe I should have grabbed all my brushes before starting. Okay, this one's all right. Some of these big ones, they tend to get really stiff on me. I should do a better job keeping my brushes nice. But all right, so starting with the sky, I really want to create the sense of this glow. So there's really not a lot of cool, chalky sky blues, but I still have to start with something because there is some blue in there. So I'm going to take a little bit of ultramarine blue and white, but to that, I'm going to add some more yellow ochre and a little bit of the cad red. So I get sort of this neutral tone of blue, sort of that, almost like an old-fashioned sort of blue. I hope you can see. Okay, good, you can see that. And I'm just going to streak on where the clouds pretty much should live in here. So anytime I take white, I'm going to want to add a little bit of yellow to it just to create the glowing effect. So we'll keep that neutral like that. I want to make sure I don't get a green. And I might even just let some of that bare canvas show through as I'm going along. So I'm working also the sky in layers. So I started with the farthest away layer of the blue, and then moving my way towards the cloud, I'm starting with the darker tone of the clouds. And then I'll add the highlights and so forth on top. People often ask, because these Facebook videos, and sometimes YouTube does it too, if I am ambidextrous. No, I'm not. Well, actually, sometimes I am, but on the general whole, no, I'm not. It reverses what it looks like on here. So there's that. To answer your question. Okay, so I just added a little bit of white to this because I want to give some body to these clouds as they're sort of streaking across this here. As they go down now towards the sun, I have a lot more yellow and cad yellow in there. Yellow ochre, cad yellow. Let's just get that in there. Just keeping it pretty. Oops, I don't like what's happening here. I see blue mixing with the yellow. This is what I love about oil paints. It's just so easy just to clean up your messes. So yeah. All right, so let me clean this one off. I'm switching now to the smaller one. This is a size 6 flat. Okay. So yeah, a little bit of cad red light and some cad yellow. That looks better. I feel better about that. It was getting too greenish. And that can happen with skies. If you get some blue on your brush and then you mix yellow with it, of course, that's obviously what you're going to end up with. So it was so nice. I just decided a little bit ago, I was going to do a video and then film it and upload it like I normally do, but it's kind of a long, tedious process. And I thought, you know, it was really fun back in the day when I just used to go live, and it felt like we were hanging out together. So I thought that's what I'm going to do today, and that'll be fun. I'll upload this video then to YouTube, and that'll be great. But I posted this painting quite a while ago, and I got some response on it. People said that they'd really like to see me paint that, and I never forgot that. So it made sense to do that today. So there's sort of this jet stream streak going this way, and I really want to try to get that in there. In order to do that and to really make it pop, you have to allow for some darker areas. And that's often how I do sparkles in water on ocean waves. Make sure that the background is dark enough for that sparkle to have an area to really shine. And so that's what I'm doing with this, just sort of that jet stream in here. Okay, now I'm going to get a little bit more. As I start approaching the sun and the horizon, I'm getting a little bit more generous with the pile of paint. And I think when I start getting thicker paint, I'm going to take my palette cup and put a little bit of linseed oil in it. If you're just joining me, this is what I used for linseed oil. And someone had asked a question on YouTube about working in layers and using the linseed oil. How do you do that working in layers? Well, I pretty much, and she did acknowledge that she sees that I mostly paint alla prima, but that's what I do for videos. For videos, you see me painting alla primas because I try to get it done in one sitting. But if I were to work on a painting, you know, over several weeks or days or whatever, and it dries in between the layers, then as far as what to do with the linseed oil, I don't do anything different. I'll only ever use just the smallest bit. So if I use a little bit in the first layer, it's very thin anyway. So I'm really not worried about how much I do, you know, the fat over lean rule. And what that means is you don't want to put thick, juicy paint on right away if you're going to plan on working in layers for your painting. If you want to do it alla prima, then it's a little bit different. You still have to have a thinner base for your paint, but alla prima, you can do a thick layer and be done with that passage if that's how you're going to do it. Alla prima just means painting done in one sitting, if you're not familiar with that. So I'm going to take a little bit of Alizarin Crimson. It's actually Alizarin Permanent. They're pretty much the same, but Alizarin Permanent has a better light fastness. It stays crisper, brighter, cleaner, sharper, longer. I just wanted a little bit down over here. So again, just kind of making it a little bit more intense towards the horizon. Let's get a little bit more pink in there. I always see this beautiful, what I think is just this alizarin crimson mixed with white, a little bit of cad red in the sky. I always try to get that in my sunsets. Let's do a little bit over here too. Okay, now I'm going to take just some clean, bright, sunny yellow, just like this. That's cad yellow medium. Let's put a little bit of white in there just to tone it down a little bit. Right up here around the sun. Back. Go a little brighter. And I'll scoop that up. All right, then I'm going to take a little bit more of the white with the yellow. I'm not going quite bright white yet. And I like to get this irregular feeling to the brush, the clouds or whatever. If I twirl my brush a little bit, I think it makes it look kind of interesting to give it some of that irregularity. We'll streak this one going up this way. You can press a little harder and lift and twirl as it goes back. All right, and then we'll come over here, and I do like a little bit thicker paint on top of what I have down here for some of this thinner underneath that layer. So we'll just let some of that play. And come over here. I'd want to put a little bit more information in some of these clouds over here. And then to make these clouds, like sometimes I'll want a crisp, sharper bottom where it might be getting a little bit more of that sunlight ray hitting it. And then other places I'll have it just be a little bit softer on top. And you can just, with your brush, just soften your pressure to really lose some of those edges. All right, so I don't want this to be really distracting, so I'm just gonna kind of soften and let some of this just sort of play, get lost over there. I'd want a little bit thicker paint near the center of interest because I think that just gives that area a little bit more thrust to the canvas. It makes it more interesting. So this is where the real hot spot's going to be on the painting, of course. So I am putting thicker, bright yellow white in here. And let that just sort of play like that. Okay, and then my sun. And that has a little bit of yellow in it. I'm going to bring this down and let it mix in with what is down below here. And this is sitting on the edge of the fog down here. Just right here. And I really want it to be so that you'd almost have to squint looking at it. So I like that effect. So now as I move a little bit further away from this hot spot, I'm mixing a little bit more yellow ochre with this. And I haven't forgotten this mountain range back in here, so I'll get that here in a little bit. Okay, so I'll get that right now. So I'm going to take a little bit of ultramarine blue, and let's get some Alizarin Crimson in there. Sienna. Some white, because I don't want these really dark. So let's see. Okay, starting way over here, just with a really light pressure because I don't want a sharp, crisp edge on them because they're so far away. And I'm letting the edge of my brush define the contour of the range. So as we come a little bit closer to us, I might mix it up with just a little more sienna or blue. And I'm not worried about the bottom line here because I can always fix that later as I put in the fog. Okay, let's come over this way. In fact, I think, let's see if I can maybe pull you a little bit closer. That's fine. I'll just make sure to remember to lean back. Right here, there's a lot of the sunlight hitting the front of this mountain here. That's one thing I do like about flat brushes is that you're able to get in there with a nice chiseled edge and just play with some of that. Make it sharp if you need to. And just sometimes just with the finger you can really lose an edge too. And that looks neat. So we'll let that happen right in here. Right over here. That looks all right. It's looking more like a sunspot. Okay, I'm just taking a little bit of cadmium red now, mixed with some of that yellow from the sun. And over on my painting here, I see some of it just sort of streaking up the sides of the mountain, mixed with some of the cad yellows and the yellow ochre. Just like that. I've got my paper towels down here. I don't really see much of it over here. I can just add some anyway. I like to have my palette up close, so a little more yellow ochre. Let's get some cad yellow in there too. Okay, so I'm going to come back through here pretty soon with some of that whiter, mistier color. Okay. Just grabbing some. I might even just take some of what I already have. I'm marking the edge of that mountain range over there. And some of that over here too. Really want that to look like fog. And the way to do that is to really capture that feeling of light and airiness. And we were just down in San Diego. As we were leaving, there was this beautiful heavy fog in the whole valley there. It's absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to get a smaller brush, or it's not much smaller, but it's cleaner. So I just want to let some of this fog have a softer edge where it meets this mountain over here. Same with these mountains. Okay, that looks fine. Now for now, this is just a really thin layer. I can always come back over it with a little bit more thicker paint. And I like to use brush strokes that have sort of almost a cross-hatching look. This way, and this way, and this way, and this way. Just keeping everything really quiet. Once I get the darks in this whole valley of fog, it'll also help to really give it the illusion of it having weight and depth down here. Okay, let's get a little bit more articulate goldenness over here. Maybe a little bit over here. I got a brush hair on there. Okay. All right. Now to get some of the darker tones, grabbing some ultramarine blue, a little bit of alizarin. Let's grab some sienna too and see what happens. All right. Oh, here we go. My canvas is going to move around. So this is a dark value, but it's not my darkest value yet. My darkest value is going to be these rocks and the land up in here. And they're important to have those have a separation from these, because this dark mass, because they really set the understanding of what it is. That it's, you know, we're up on a sort of a precipice looking out over this valley of fog. Running out. I didn't put enough linseed oil in my little container. All right, there we go. Just taking some more alizarin and some of the blue that I already had more or less mixed up here with a little bit more linseed oil. I'm going with the softer lavender back in here for the darks that are way back here, because I want them to be have the appearance of being dark, but not as dark and as heavy as what's up here. We need more blue and sienna in that. Oh, I'm starting to get it blocked in. Takes a little while sometimes to get it laid down. It's quite a large canvas too. This is pretty much how I would normally do it on my own, just to get the value masses down. And then I can start to, into this, play with a little bit more of the subtleties in the form of this fog. Fog, you know, it actually does have a form, even though it has sort of an elusive boundary. All right, I need a newer wash paper towel. Okay, now it's blocked in, so I want to start really being cognizant of the separations here between everything and how everything sort of flows together. Let's get some of this warmth from the sun down in here. Taking some cad red right into the alizarin. I'm working that up in here a little bit too. Well, if anything, this is quite a nice ASMR video. Hope I'm not putting you to sleep. I think I've done that in a few videos. Put some people to sleep. Well, this gives me a chance. I can talk about the workshops I have going on. I'm pretty excited about those. I have, there's a couple of 5 spots left in Destin, Florida, and I'm really excited about that one. It's going to be, you know, May 1st through the 4th, 4 days, and turquoise, beautiful water, palm trees. I mean, what more could you want? And so I'm really excited about that. All of these you can contact me if you want more information on. And then the Ireland workshop, a couple spots opened up. So if you were hoping to make it to that one, let me know. That one is July 1st to the 5th. And that one's going to be really fun. We're going to be in Roundstone. We're going to take a day and go to Inishbofin, and so all plein air. And so that's going to be really good. Oh, and both of those are $450. You find your own lodging and meals and all that, and your transportation and so forth, but that just covers the tuition. But if you don't want to have to worry about all that, we got you taken care of too. Down in England, I'm doing a workshop. I'm very excited about that. It's going to be in Dorset, and that one, it's actually two. The first one is plein air, and that's 4 days. And then after that, I'm doing a Victorian watercolor workshop. And that one will be 3 days. Both of them at Classical Art Academy, UK. I have all the information on my website too, jessicahenryfineart.com, if you want to register for those. If you live over there and you just want to take the course, you don't need lodging or anything like that, there's a price for that. But if you don't live there and you're looking for that, they got you taken care of. Everything is covered. They've got your meals, your lodging, whatever. So that's beautiful too. The pictures are absolutely gorgeous. And so you don't have to take both workshops. You can just take either just the watercolor or just the plein air, or both, whatever. So that's going to be exciting. So that is in July 12th. And you have to check my website because maybe it's the 13th, and then for a whole week after that, 8 days actually. So check that if you're interested in those. I'll be really excited. I'm really hoping that I get to have some extra time there in England, because I absolutely love England and Scotland and want to get over there and explore, have some extra time. And anyway, so maybe I can make some videos while I'm there, extra videos. Okay, so that's in July. Then in September, I'm going to be down in San Diego, California, teaching a plein air workshop, and I'm looking forward to that. We don't have all the details up for that yet, but so I'm excited about that. That'll be great. That's out there with Richard Stergulz Greenhouse Art House School, and so that'll be. I know that there's some already booked for that class. So when I get the information up, if you're interested in that and you live out in that way, or even if you don't live out that way and you'd like to travel to San Diego, it's beautiful there. I had no idea the San Diego area. It's actually in the area. It's not in San Diego. I had no idea it was so beautiful. Mountains and rolling hills and the ocean and all that. Stunning. So, and then after that, in October, end of October, I'll be in Sicily with Tuscany in the Frame. I taught there a few years ago with their workshop facility, and that was, boy, he puts on a first-rate workshop. The food, everything. Like, you don't have to worry about a thing, and you're spoiled rotten, and it's a great time. So, we didn't go to Sicily last time. We went to the villa there in Tuscany. He's got this gorgeous villa, and had a great time. Went around the surrounding areas, and just painted in Cortona and all of that. I mean, it's a painter's paradise. I could have, stayed there for months. But anyway, so I'm looking forward to Sicily. And then after that, I fly directly from Sicily over to Australia. That's going to be really exciting. That is for an outback tour. First few days are in a workshop facility. And then after that, we're taking a tour. We're going to be playing with kangaroos and koala bears and just, paint the Australian scenery, beautiful ocean scenes, wherever just can't wait. It'll be a dream come true. And I hope that if you've always wanted to be a part of that, that you make that happen, because we're going to have a great time. And then I come home and rest sometime in November. I think we end up that tour in Sydney. So that's going to be cool. What I'm doing here is I am just kind of going over things and softening and making it kind of blend and more cohesive. Wish I had a workshop in Scotland. Oh, that'll have to be next year. I would love that. I mean, I will have a week after my workshop in England. I'll have a week to kill, and I thought that I would kind of just travel around and make videos, but I mean, if there's a possibility to arrange another one, I don't know, that'd be cool, but I don't know. Maybe 2020. So we'll see what happens with that. So I'm also just sort of taking my brush and going horizontal and vertical, horizontal, vertical, to get some of this illusion of this floating sort of mass of fog this way. And laying it on the side, just gently trickling. Pressing it for a little more paint, lifting off for less. Like that. I think I'll just soften that a little over here. So yeah, the Color in Your Life show will be airing March 8th. And we're pretty excited about that. That'll be shown all over the world. And, yeah, so if you're interested in these workshops, they may fill fairly quickly after that airs. So, you know, get on the stick, and, you know, tax returns are coming up, and Mother's Day, Father's Day, whatever. So I'm excited. I think that one of the greatest things that I've learned in life is that travel and memories that you make from travel they never rust. They never expire. It's one of those things you never regret. And I learned that when I was 20. I saved up for 10 months and took myself to Europe. And I traveled around for 2 months by myself to explore museums. That was the whole purpose, just to get out there and see what the masters were doing. And some of the best museums in Europe. So I went to 10 different countries, and I started out in France, and I went up to England and Wales, Ireland, then over to Amsterdam, Berlin, down to Austria, Vienna, Salzburg. Then I went over to Venice and Rome, then all the way around over to beautiful, then up to Paris, and I flew home. And I was 20 years old, and I did that all by myself in 2 months. I was really homesick, but I never regretted it, ever. I still, I look back on that and I think, wow, that was a trip of a lifetime. And 20 some years later. So I strongly encourage everyone to get out and see the world, know what's out there. And the only regrets we have in life are the risks we didn't take. So, as far as workshops go, I've heard a lot of people say, well, I'm too intimidated to take workshops with other people. I'm afraid I would be the worst in the class, and I haven't painted in years. And I've heard all these excuses, folks. Let me tell you, there is no such thing as the worst in the class. There really isn't, unless you just don't care. And that's the difficult one to handle. But if you're there and you want to learn, even if you've never put a brush stroke on the canvas, good grief, if I have someone in my workshop and they have never excited to be there, they're awesome. I love it. I love having those, as well as the seasoned professionals or whatever. I like anybody wherever they are. If they're happy and they want to do it and they're raring to go, my goodness, we're going to be best friends. So everybody that comes to my workshops, I print out a workbook for them. And so they have a printout of that, and they can take it home, or they can write notes in it or use it as a coaster. I don't care. But I have them bound, just staples, the plastic binder thing. And so it's nice. And because sometimes, I used to take workshops and I would feverishly take notes, and I learned that I really didn't like taking notes, because while I'm writing, I'm missing what the teacher's doing. And so having been, and still, on that end of taking workshops, I know it's not that fun to sit and take notes. So I provide those for you so that you can just concentrate and pay attention if you want. And then that way when you leave, a lot of what was talked about is already in your workbook, and you can just have it for your own, and make side notes as you think about it if you want. So that's what I do. Now in a few places here, I'm going to come back through with a dry brush and just like that. Oh, thank you, Anne. Good to see you. Sorry I'm missing all your comments. I'll have to get to them later. I'm kind of just lost in this billowing sea of fog and memory. It's a little bit like memory, isn't it? Okay, taking a dry brush here, and this is definitely not your rosemary brush. It's like your 57-cent variety. I'm just going to make a few X's. The last thing I want to do on here is go through and make a bunch of soft X's and like mute everything. But there are some places where I do want a softness that this kind of helps me get, like that. So I'm going to just every now and then, I'm going to wipe it off on my paper towel here. Just want to get that feeling of weightlessness in the sky. Often if you think cloud, you have a tendency to capture a cloud a little bit easier. Just think light, airy. You don't want them to look heavy. Just like that. And that's all I want to do with the sky. I think that gives me the illusion that I was looking for. Just wiping it off. I'm wiping it off because I don't want these color blocks to become mushy. I want them to stay in their own integrity. So just a few places in here. And clean that off. And if you get a part of the fog that has a sharp edge, it's really going to kill that look of looking like fog, so I want to soften that. Now this is one of those things. If you do this painting, you can get carried away, because sometimes it's really fun to do something that looks cool, but you really have to exercise restraint in some of these, because it can kind of run amok on you. And then before you know it, everything is mushy and it looks like a big furry pit of whatever. And so just watch that, but don't get carried away. Okay. All right, back to my rocks. So I'm going to get some of this foreground and grasses and stuff in there too. That's what we say in class. I missed what you're referring to. Okay, so just taking some blue and sienna, ultramarine blue, burnt sienna. Let's just really get a lot of stuff going here. I want this a really dark area, almost a silhouette. That looks juicy. There's just a lot to that. Okay, so here we go. I feel like Bob Ross, like I should say, okay, big decisions. Oh my goodness, okay. Okay, you know what color I have, so I'm going to put my palette down. And by putting a sharp contrasting edge here in front, it will really make it look like these rocks are, I'm going to lower this a little bit. It's set in front of this. Getting aggressive. Just, all I'm concerned about here is just a silhouette. I'll add some shape and contour and stuff in here when I'm done massing this in. Okay, getting things done. Okay, so just taking some, what am I going to do? Let's take some Alizarin Crimson, or what is that, yellow ochre, burnt sienna. Let's grab some cad red light. Take some of that cad yellow too. Just going to start putting this in to represent some of the grasses in here. This is the first layer of grassy stuff. I'll add some highlights on top of that. Get some more. Kind of a mess, my palette, my goodness. All right. Cleaning my brush off, I just want to go in here now and pop in some more of the highlight color on the grass. So let's just take some cadmium yellow, a little bit of red. Let's see what that does. I don't want to get too pasty orange. Sometimes a little bit is all you need, just a little. Really get that feeling of seed grasses and things like that. Now I'm going to switch over to my palette knife. You know, while I'm doing this part here, I'll talk to you a little bit about the Academy. We are so excited to start our second year in the Academy and thinking about the different classes that I'm going to be doing and starting here. In fact, the last few days I've been working on making short little videos of the year that we just did, the first year. I'm just taking a little bit of paint on there. Good grief. It's a Bob Ross day today. Okay, just a little roll of paint. And I'm kind of cutting in like this, just to represent some of these, and then I'll scratch them too. Let's get over here. Yeah, so I'm putting little clips of the videos of the classes that we did for the first year, just shorts, so that you can kind of see what it's all about. And really excited about that. I've been working on these videos for the last few days, and they're just a couple minutes long, so you can get a flavor of what we're doing in the Renaissance. And those are free. I mean, you can just go look at those on our website, Renaissance Academy of Fine Arts. We have a few of them up. We don't have all of them up yet, but the drawing ones are all in place. And it's neat because you can see, you know, kind of where the logic is and where we take students through the whole year. And so stay tuned. We'll have all those up soon. Just the drawing ones are up right now. But if you've been wondering, you know, well, you know, what are your videos like? What are you doing? And all that. It's pretty cool. Very thorough, too. We've got... I'm just putting a little bit of light on the rim of this rock. I thought it was too, like, cut out and pasty. So yeah, so anyway, that is just a little thing about the Academy. And I don't know if you don't know already, it's just been a lifelong dream. Most of my adult life, I've been thinking about what I would want for, what I think would make the best art education. And I've thought about ways where I thought maybe there were gaps in my training and what I wished I'd had more of. And so that was sort of the genesis of where it came from and why these classes, why not, you know, other things. And sure, you could add more to this academy, and maybe we will over time, I don't know, but we really do have and wanted to offer quite a variety, not just because it's fun, but because I do believe that it is part of a well balanced art education. And so that is why, you know, we start with the foundation of drawing and move into watercolor, because watercolor in the way that we teach it with the Victorian watercolor really teaches you. I look at the old masters, the Edmund Dulacs and the Arthur Rackhams and even the Blanche Fisher Wright, Mother Goose, and so forth. These people, there's so much that I can draw from them for teaching about, color composition and balance and harmony. And a lot of them were looking at the Japanese prints and getting a sense of design and harmony and all of that. So I could draw on those when I'm teaching the Victorian watercolor and, even Notan and using that in our design and composition. So we teach other things as well, the perspective, the pen and ink, and still life, portraiture, plein air, drawing animals, horses, painting horses. Next year, I'm looking forward to adding figure. We didn't do figure work this last year, but I'm looking forward to that. So it'll be exciting. And I'll also be doing more all year, working from life, a whole lot more. Very, very little will be working from photos. And we're still including some classes on working from photos because ultimately it comes in everyone. So it's inevitable that at some point you're going to have to know how to handle working from photos. And so that's why we add it. It's important to know. Anyway. So I'm just kind of playing with some of this balance in here and creating a sense of contrast. I always like to add a little bit of contrast to my paintings because I've got this soft, billowy fog in here. So I want to add kind of this scratchy, hard rocks and these elements in here. I am going to clean some of these. I just want some of them to look a little bit more natural. So I'm cleaning my brush. What was the watercolor? It depends on what I'm painting. I do prefer as heavy a watercolor paper as I can get. So I won't do 90. 140 is as light as I'll go. If I can get 300, I'm feeling really great. And then it depends on if I want, what sort of texture I want. So if I want a rougher texture, then I will go with, obviously, cold pressed. Like if I'm doing an antique style painting, and I think that that texture would serve me well for that, then I'll go with the cold pressed. If I want a lot of detail, then, and I know I'm going to be doing something that has little teeny faces or whatever, then I want the hot pressed. That's very smooth. And I do like arches best. But there's a lot of good brands of paint or paper. Just get what you can wherever you are. It's fine. I just bought, one of the first classes we're going to be doing with the Academy is on nature journaling. And so I have just a cute little book that I got for the purpose of that class. And in it, I have put a little bit of gesso on some pages. And I plan on doing even just some little color sketches, maybe in oil, or might just do, it says it's okay for watercolor. I haven't done any watercolors on them. I'm sure it's less than 90 pound, but I could probably just do some little cute little washes, or nothing major. And but I really do like that idea of doing the nature journaling. And the concept is, of course, working from life. And we're taking the month of January off at the Renaissance Academy so that people can catch up, and I can do some little bit of studying and get all these other video things done. But yeah, I'm anxious to get going on that nature journaling. The idea is all working from life. You know, what else is there? So I really do want to get and encourage people to get off your phone. I know I'm the worst too, because I am always checking, but the point is, you know, even just standing in line, whatever, we always just kind of gravitate towards our phone. And if I can encourage people to maybe take out your little sketchbook instead and sketch someone. They'll never know you're looking at them. Anyway, all right, so I'm pretty much going to have to wrap this up and just put a little bit of light dancing in through here a little bit. All right, I think that's going to have to be it. All right, let's set this down, move this back. Okay, so that was Above the Valley Fog. And where am I going here? All right, so I'll just think back. Okay, well, that's it, and I hope that you enjoyed this, and that I didn't just completely talk your ear off. And you guys have a wonderful weekend, and just go to my website, Jessica Henry Fine Art, for more information on those workshops, and also you can go to RenaissanceCreativeArts.com for more information on Renaissance Academy, or just go to Renaissance Academy Fine Arts. All right, you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.